In football, some predictions sound impossible the moment they are made. But every once in a while, one prediction changes the way we look at the game forever. More than 20 years ago, Ronaldinho was at the very top of world football. He had won the Ballon d'Or. He was the biggest star at Barcelona, and millions of fans believed they were watching the best player on the planet. Then, he said something that almost nobody expected. Instead of talking about himself, Ronaldinho pointed to a quiet teenager training alongside him and made a bold prediction. He said Lionel Messi would become even better than he was. At that moment, very few people believed him. Messi had only played a handful of matches for Barcelona. He was young, inexperienced, and still trying to earn his place in the first team. Many people thought Ronaldinho was simply encouraging a talented youngster. But Ronaldinho had already seen something that the rest of the football world had not. He watched Messi every day in training. He saw the confidence, the intelligence, and the natural ability that could not be measured by goals or trophies. Years later, that prediction would become one of the greatest in football history. Messi would go on to win multiple Ballon d'Or awards, lift the UEFA Champions League, lead Argentina to international glory, and break records that once seemed impossible. Looking back today, Ronaldinho's words no longer sound unbelievable. They sound remarkably accurate. So, how did Ronaldinho recognize Messi's greatness long before almost everyone else? What did he see behind the scenes that convinced him the young Argentine would become a football legend? In this documentary, we'll revisit the real moments, the real quotes, and the incredible journey that proved Ronaldinho was right when almost nobody else believed him. But before we begin, if you enjoy football documentaries backed by real stories and fascinating history, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next video. Now, let's go back to the moment when one football legend predicted the rise of another. To understand why Ronaldinho's prediction became so legendary, we first have to go back to Barcelona in the mid-2000s. At that time, Ronaldinho was the face of world football. He had already won the Ballon d'Or, helped Barcelona return to the top of European football, and was entertaining fans with skills that seemed impossible. When Ronaldinho spoke, people listened. But one of his most memorable comments was not about himself. It was about a young Lionel Messi. In interviews during Messi's early years at Barcelona, Ronaldinho repeatedly praised the teenager's talent. One of his most famous statements was, "Messi will be one of the best players in the world." As Messi continued to improve, Ronaldinho went even further. Looking back on their time together, he said, "I was happy to help him at the beginning, and now he has brought so much joy to football. I always knew he had something special." These were not comments made after Messi had already won Ballon d'Or awards or lifted the World Cup. Ronaldinho recognized his potential while Messi was still trying to establish himself in Barcelona's first team. That is what makes his words so remarkable. Ronaldinho wasn't looking at the number of goals Messi had scored or the trophies he had won. He was judging what he saw every single day on the training ground: his speed, his balance, his decision-making, and his ability to do things that even experienced professionals struggled to stop. Inside Barcelona, several teammates also spoke about how difficult Messi was to defend in training, even as a teenager. While fans around the world were only beginning to learn his name, the people closest to him already believed they were watching an extraordinary talent. At the time, however, most football fans didn't realize just how accurate Ronaldinho's prediction would become. And that's exactly why so many people dismissed his words, at least in the beginning. Ronaldinho's prediction sounds obvious. But back then, almost nobody believed it. The reason was simple. Lionel Messi was still an unknown teenager trying to earn a place in one of the strongest squads in the world. Barcelona already had world-class stars like Ronaldinho, Samuel Eto'o, Xavi, Andres Iniesta, and Carles Puyol. With so many established players, it was difficult to imagine that a young academy graduate would one day become the biggest name in football. There were also questions about Messi's physical strength. He was shorter than most defenders, had a slim build, and many people wondered if he could handle the physical demands of top-level football. Every week, experienced defenders were ready to challenge him with aggressive tackles. Some believed his incredible dribbling style would become much harder against the world's best teams. Injuries added even more doubt. During the early years of his professional career, Messi missed several matches because of muscle injuries. Some football experts worried that his body might not cope with the demands of playing an entire season at the highest level. Then, there was Ronaldinho himself. At that time, he was widely considered the best player in the world. When someone at that level says a teenager could become even greater, it naturally sounds unbelievable. Many fans thought Ronaldinho was simply encouraging a young teammate and helping him settle into the first team. But inside Barcelona, the story was very different. The coaching staff and several senior players had already seen flashes of brilliance in training. They watched Messi dribble past experienced defenders, make smart decisions under pressure, and play with a confidence far beyond his age. Those moments rarely appeared on television, but they convinced the people closest to him that his potential was extraordinary. As the months passed, Messi started receiving more opportunities on the pitch. With every match, every goal, and every standout performance, Ronaldinho's prediction began to look less like optimism and more like reality. Soon, the entire football world would witness the first signs that Ronaldinho had seen something truly special long before everyone else did. The first signs appeared every time Messi stepped onto the pitch. Even as a teenager, he played with a level of confidence that was rare for someone so young. He wasn't afraid to take on experienced defenders, dribble through tight spaces, or ask for the ball in the biggest moments. While most young players tried to avoid mistakes, Messi played with the belief that he belonged at the highest level. One of the earliest moments came in 2005 when Messi scored his first official goal for Barcelona against Albacete. The goal itself was memorable, but what made it even more special was the assist. Ronaldinho spotted Messi's run and delivered the perfect pass, allowing the young Argentine to chip the goalkeeper with remarkable composure. It was more than just a goal. It felt like one legend was introducing the next. Manager Frank Rijkaard trusted Messi in important matches, even though he was surrounded by some of the biggest names in football. That trust helped him develop faster and gave him the opportunity to prove himself on the biggest stages. Slowly, the doubts began to disappear. The teenager that many people thought was simply a promising youngster was becoming one of Barcelona's most exciting players. Match after match, Ronaldinho's words looked more accurate, and before long, Messi was no longer being compared to future stars. He was becoming the player that everyone else would eventually be compared to. Even after brilliant performances in training, Messi stayed humble. He listened to experienced teammates, worked hard every day, and always looked for ways to improve. Ronaldinho later spoke about how Messi's attitude impressed him just as much as his natural ability. Looking back today, Ronaldinho's prediction was never based on emotion or friendship. It was based on what he witnessed every single day at Barcelona's training ground. As one of the greatest players of his generation, Ronaldinho understood exactly what true greatness looked like, and he recognized it before almost anyone else. History eventually proved him right. The quiet teenager he believed in went on to win multiple Ballon d'Or awards, countless major trophies, and inspire millions of football fans around the world. Sometimes, the greatest predictions are not lucky guesses. They come from legends who recognize another legend before the rest of the world ever can. When Ronaldinho made that prediction, very few people believed him. At the time, Lionel Messi was simply a young player with enormous potential. He recognized a future legend before the rest of the world caught up. Now we'd love to hear from you. Do you think Ronaldinho made the greatest prediction in football history? Or is there another prediction that deserves that title? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this documentary, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next football story. And if you have a friend who loves football history, share this video with them. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next documentary.